In today's video, we're going to be looking at 5 main skills that you should know of to help you boost your IT career and land that job that you're looking for. Let's get started. Hello, Internet. Today, we're going to be talking about our 5 skills that are going to be in high demand in 2024. With this new year getting started, it's good to look at and see what skills you want to develop to help you land that job that you've always dreamt of. Our first skill we're going to talk about is a big one. It was huge this last year, and it's only going to continue growing, and that is artificial intelligence. The guys that are keeping their jobs are the ones that are building the artificial intelligence. So understanding machine learning, large language models, and artificial intelligence is a vital skill set. So if you have some developer knowledge or want to get into that, that's a fantastic skill that you should be cultivating right now. If anything, to at least be able to use it, but if you can a whole lot better, if you can make it and help develop it. How do you learn these types of skills? Well, there's a few ways that you can do so. And the best part is several of them are free. Well, we've got our main courses that you can look at. Go to like sites like Udemy. They have courses on it. There's also other courses online, but there's some free ones too, like Coursera. They have some free courses that you can take. EDX, they have several courses that from top universities to help you develop those skills. You also have a great blog such as fast.ai that talks deeply about various subjects in artificial intelligence and machine language. Then you have things such as PyTorch. If you're a Python type of person, PyTorch is a fantastic machine learning language framework you can use and learn to help you build out a language model for a project of your own. And there's all kinds of projects out there on GitHub and GitLab and elsewhere that you can use as a reference for building your own. The last thing is TensorFlow. It's a very popular machine learning framework library that can help you build out your own. They have all kinds of tutorials, documentation, things like that help you develop those skills. Second skill that we need to talk about is multi-cloud management. Now, cloud's not going away. As a matter of fact, it's only growing in the IT industry. And a big approach is doing a hybrid type approach where you have on-prem as well as cloud, but even more in demand is multi-cloud, being able to manage multiple cloud environments at the same time. Well, to get started with those, I highly recommend just starting with one and then build on that. They're all very similar, but they all have their own unique, different approaches to essentially the same type of service. They all have code vaults. They all have their own code repositories, usually based on Git. They all have virtual machines that you could spin up, things like that. But each one has its own caveat. It's important to learn those. I highly recommend mastering one cloud, and then learn some things about the others, but then you need to learn a tool to help you manage all of them together. So what are the 3 main players? Simple. You have AWS, the massive cloud environment. Amazon Web Services is very well known throughout the whole world. I'm sure you've heard of AWS. That's Amazon's main product that they sell. That makes them more money than anything else. And it's well deserved because they were the first one out the door with offering cloud services. Microsoft Azure is number 2, and they're coming in very close as number 2. Azure is massive as well. Microsoft is heavily invested in Azure and Azure's future and has some fantastic tools to help you with cloud migration and hybrid approaches, things like that. And the last one is Google Cloud. Google has some great cloud networks. A lot of companies are leveraging them for various things as well. Being able to leverage not just one, but all 3 of these heavy players, these heavyweights, will help you in your IT career more than anything else when it comes to knowing infrastructure and DevOps skills. So what do you need to be able to manage these environments? Well, first off, I highly recommend sign up for the free tier. All 3 of them have a free tier. Sign up for one of them. Just start with one and you can start learning. Like for example, with Microsoft Azure, you could sign up, get their free tier, and you can start rolling out services. Set up a budget that allows you to easily manage your spend in Azure so you don't overspend. If you only want to spend $50 a month or $20 a month or $5 a month, put in that budget. Is that way you don't accidentally go over it, because that's an important skill to have too. Not to mention you accidentally spin up something that's going to cost you a lot more and get a surprise bill at the end of the month. And they all have their own budgetary system. I'm just using Azure as an example. Not to mention there's all kinds of free learning resources. Learn.microsoft.com has all kinds of great courses on how to learn and use Azure and various Azure services, whether you want to go a DevOps route or maybe an SRE route, or maybe you want to go be a pure infrastructure cloud engineer or cloud security, things like that. Whatever your you're wanting to learn, they've got some great courses for Azure, and they all three have their own learning systems that you can go and leverage. If you like books, Microsoft has Learn Azure in a Month of Lunches ebook, absolutely free, that you can download, and you can go through that day by day. Learn Azure literally in 30 days in a month of lunches. It's a fantastic book. I highly recommend, and it's free, which you can't beat that price tag. So once you get master of cloud environment and get comfortable with using it, go ahead, sign up for the free tier for the other and start playing with those too. Get yourself familiar. See how those skills that you have in one cloud environment can translate into the others, and that can really help. Then you need to look at multi-cloud management. Well, what are multi-cloud managements? There's all kinds of different ones out there. I would say probably the absolute most widely used is Terraform. And Terraform is a multi-cloud deployment platform. It allows you to say, okay, I want this environment to be spun up in these 3 cloud environments or 2 cloud environments or whatever. Another fantastic automation system that you can use, and I highly recommend you learn, is Red Hat's Ansible. There is an open source version of Ansible that you can leverage and use and tinker with and install. Just go ahead, throw it on a VM and start using it and see how powerful that type of system is. But having those skills, Ansible or Terraform, learning at least one of those will help you in that multi-cloud management journey. Not to mention, it gives you the skills you need so that you can deploy environments and be able to manage them easily and learn, and that will translate into other skills down the road, which leads us into our third skill. As you know, I'm an infrastructure guy, systems and networking. So being a sysadmin and network engineer, those very, very important skills to have. That will translate into knowing your cloud environments, that translates into knowing your local environment, setting up those multi-cloud tenants, setting up the environment locally and having them be able to communicate to each other, WAN management, things like that. You need to have at least a base understanding. You don't have to be 100%, but you need to have at least good foundational knowledge of how TCP/IP works, networking works, what a VLAN is, things like that. A lot of this stuff, like Azure and infrastructure and hybrid, you're going to be learning here. So make sure you hit subscribe and like, because there's going to be a lot more videos about just that, what help you with your skill set, the things that I've learned in my 20 plus years in IT that I'm going to be sharing here and having fun learning. Set up a home lab environment that you can tinker with. Better yet, have that home lab environment talk to Azure or AWS or GCP or all three. You'll be able to do some amazing stuff as you go. Where can you learn systems and networking? Well, any of the major players. Pluralsight has some fantastic courses for both cloud systems as well as being a sysadmin and even develop and DevOps. You also have things like Microsoft Learn that I've mentioned and Udemy. They're fantastic resources that you can learn and skill up yourself. And there's all kinds of YouTube channels dedicated to this topic, including mine, on learning these various skills. There's also a great article that I found, free online courses from 4sysops.com. They have a nice list of building out your skills for Microsoft or AWS or Office 365 stuff. If you want to do development in .NET, Docker, things like that, virtualization, Kubernetes, which is an important skill to have as well, and even other resources. Some of those resources I've actually already listed off here. And part of that, being a good systems administrator, that kind of leads into our next field, which is for DevOps, also known as SRE. Now, what's the difference between the two? Well, there's a few things. Honestly, I personally feel like that line gets grayed pretty darn hard. If you're with Google, it's SRE. With the rest of the world, it's DevOps. If you look at the job descriptions, everybody's confused and they call them both the same. So take it however way you want. But essentially, understanding how to read and write code and applying that both from a management and infrastructure standpoint, as well as a programmatically development mindset of you're a programmer, but you also have those infrastructure skill sets. And these three things, multi-cloud, systems and networking, DevOps /SRE /programming, these three kind of go together. It's a big field, I know, but these rely on each other because a lot of companies are looking for those three main pillars in your career. So knowing programming languages, and start simple. Start with a scripting language. You can learn something like PowerShell. PowerShell is fantastic, easy to use, easy to learn, easy to master, and you can start using it immediately, Microsoft Azure, and to build out your environments with. And that can translate into your GitHub actions and things like that to help you develop and learn infrastructure as code. That's my cat, which is also a very important skill set to have, because there's a lot of people that are out there that are still just using their mouse to click, 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 and build out environments. But if you know how to roll out infrastructure as code using like Terraform for multi-cloud, or if you at least know something like ARM or Bicep for Azure, or one of the other cloud providers frameworks, they all have their own, then that puts you a leg up amongst the competition of looking for that job. So make sure you learn it. It's free to learn. There's my cat again. She's just walking across. Hi, River. And so learning those skills are important. Where do you learn those skills? Well, an important one to know is Docker. You're going to do a ton of stuff with containers. Docker has some fantastic free tutorials out there that you can use and learn, and allows you to build out your own containers and deploy those into your cloud environment, into your home environment. Maybe you use Proxmox or Hyper-V, depending on whatever you use in your home lab. Depending on what you are using or want to use will depend on how you want to deploy your environments out, and you can look at various services that you can roll out. We're going to be doing that in this channel at some point, so again, stay tuned. More videos to come on that. Another great service to look at, not just Docker, but also consider looking at Podman. Podman is fantastic container service. It's not running in the background like Docker is. It only runs when you are ready to have it run. It works with your Visual Studio Code, your GitHub. It's a fantastic, really cool service. It's gaining a lot of traction in the community, so I highly recommend you take a look at Podman as an alternative to Docker if you don't want to run Docker. Does not matter. Run either one, run both, try them both out. Have fun with your learning journey. This is your journey. Learn it the way you want to learn it. The important thing is understanding those foundational skills. Don't worry about the nameplate on the side, whatever brand X that you're using. Learn the foundations of any of the stuff that we're talking about. That's going to help you, because that will translate across the board to all vendors, because essentially they're all doing the same thing. They just have their own unique ways of doing it. Last skill set that I want to talk about, number 5, is data analysis. Now, what is that? Well, big data is an important skill set to know how to work with data. And honestly, a big part of that too is BI, business intelligence. That in and of itself is a whole nother gambit of stuff, but those are important skills, especially in businesses, because they want to be able to mine the data they have to understand what that data is telling them, understand and see where the business is going, what is affecting the business, how it's affecting the business, things like that. Knowing things such as SQL, big data, containers, knowing how to do data analysis using such as Python or R or one of the other mini languages is fantastic skill set for you to cultivate. If you don't want to learn development work, learn Power BI. Everyone wants a Power BI dashboard anymore to be able to mine that data out and build those dashboards out. There's fantastic courses that are always on sale on Udemy and others where you can learn those types of skills. You can also look at datacamp.com. They have some fantastic courses there that can help you learn how to work with data and even AI type stuff as well. And then last thing that you can look at is Kaggle.com. They have some AI and ML that can also play right into working with data sets and data analysis, things like that. You'll notice our number 1 and our number 5 are kind of linked there. That AI ML leads the line between each other, because you've got to analyze data, and having a large language model where you can easily ask questions like, why is this doing this? Oh, this is the answer why right here, right? Having that ability is cool, and understanding that data, being able to display it in a way that's easy for management to understand is a very, very important skill set for you to master. So I hope you enjoyed this video on these five very, very important skill sets that are in high demand. Join me on our journey as we go on through the infrastructure side. We may touch on some of this other stuff down the road, but lots and lots more videos coming. If you've got a video request, please make sure you comment down below. Let us know what you think. And also, we greatly appreciate if you do a like and subscribe so you can stay tuned to any future videos that I make. So thank you again, and we'll see you next time.